Oh, hello and welcome to week 12 of the Orion Bowl. This is a fancy American football show hosted by yours truly. I'm Commissioner Burt of the Orion Bowl League, the best, most dramatic American football fantasy league in all of existence. Probably. I mean, I'm somewhat biased. Only a little. Right. First, let's recap week 11 by looking at the Week 11 Orion Bowl Ultimate Team. The best player from every position from all of our teams across the league. At quarterback, you've got Justin Herbert. 25.70, not enough to take the Suns to a win over the team with no Seamus. The team with no Namath B team get a win over one of the best teams in the league. You couldn't write that. I mean, why would you want to? Running back one, Saquon Barkley, 26 points for the Harlots, and also you had the running back two was in that same game because the Harlots were playing Baby Got Dak, who had Jalen Warren at 20.50. The Harlots took the win in that one because they also had some other fantastic players, including the wide receiver one on the week, who was none other than ex-Baltimore Ravens bench warmer, Mr. Brandon Ayuk, 21.6. Of course, he'd had a career game as soon as he was traded away from Stinktown of Baltimore Ravens, or Baltimore, I don't know what to call my stadium. Ravens? I don't know, anyway. Wide receiver 2, Tank Dell. Would it be the 2023 season if you didn't have a Houston Texans wide receiver in your top scoring wide receivers of the week? They are moving the ball in the air better than just about any other team in the league. Who would have seen that coming? Do you know what I mean? It's a real rags to riches or a trash to riches story. You know, the Texans haven't looked good the last couple of years. They've got a really good team on them now. And it also meant that the Dallas Trey Gorillas got a huge win over the team with no Namath. The best team in the league beating the most overrated team in the league, which is nice. Do you know what I mean? You couldn't write that either, but you'd want to write that because that's just a lovely story, isn't it? Tight end, 14.9 for Mr. George Kittle. Again, he was on Baby Got Dak's lineup, was not enough to get him the win over those filthy Harlots. Kicker of the week was Tyler Bass with 16 points. 16 points was ridiculous. Now, he was the real difference for the Forbesy Niners, is what the Forbesy Niners would be saying if they had won. They did not win, so they didn't say that. Even 16 points from your kicker wasn't enough to get you the win. The rebrand is over. The rebrand is finished. No, I love the rebrand though. Keep the name. Keep the name. And, bounce back this week. And then Sweet D of the week goes to the Dallas goes to Dallas. The Dallas Cowboys. You got, look, 21 points from a defense is unbelievable, and they are a fantastic defense as well. Notice how I didn't make it a tie, even though there was another defense on 21. I'm not even going to mention who they were or whose lineup they were on because I know that this will infuriate them because I've accidentally left their players out of the Ultimate Team before when they had every right to be in there. And I want to see if they notice because I'll get messages later. Maybe even they could put a comment in the comment section here to help boost my algorithms. Whoop. That's me reeling them in, real nice. 166.6 for the Ultimate Team in week 12. I don't even know if that's good or not. I haven't been keeping track of the weekly scores for the Ultimate Team. I don't even know if that's good. Let's just say that's look, if you got 166 last week in your game, you probably won. And if you didn't, your league is too soft, is what I would say. Anyway, moving on to week 12. We've already had a lot of action because of the old Thanksgiving games. So, we're going to start off with the Forbesy Niners. No, we're not. We're going to start off where we start off every week with the prime time game featuring the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Dallas Trey Gorillas. And also, I realise I am saying their team name wrong, but I refuse to say it any other way now. They are the Dallas Trey Gorillas, and that is how they're staying. Anyway, Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes. On current form, you're going to have to say Josh Allen, but look, Patrick Mahomes is capable of putting up ridiculous scores week in, week out, so there's a bit of a toss-up there. Jonathan Taylor versus Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard already played in the Thanksgiving games, put up 16-30. Tampa Bay are not a brilliant team to run against. I think they're the third best defense against the run this season. Jonathan Taylor is elite, but I don't think he puts up more than 16 points against the Tampa Bay running defense, who have been pretty good this season. Travis Etienne taking on Breece Hall. Now, Breece Hall already put up 4.9. I think Etienne should put up more than that, but on current form, I don't know if he will. He hasn't been finding the form that he had before they had their bye week. Since they come back from their bye week, he's been pretty poor. I hope he's not this week, is all I can say. But yeah, jury's out on that one, really. Garrett Wilson versus Nico Collins. Now, I put Wilson in yesterday. I was regretting it for the whole game. The whole damn game. I'd had a fairly good week, and I was dancing every time my players went in for touchdowns. Garrett Wilson, the Jets offense, there was a glimmer of hope towards the end of the game, but at the first, it was just more of the same. More of not being able to move the football, that decision at the end of the first half. And that was on Coach Salah as well. I think Coach Salah is a fantastic coach, and I really hope that we stick with him. But the decision making to have your new quarterback going for it they're calling it the Fail Mary, because there was nothing good that could have come from that play. You had the momentum, you got the takeaway, you got the pick six, you managed to stop the Dolphins, managed to pick off Tua again. There's 3 seconds left on the clock. Take a knee, go to the locker room with momentum on your side. You made everybody go into the locker room on a real downer because you made your quarterback throw the ball when he shouldn't have done for a Hail Mary attempt, the Fail Mary, and then you let them return it 96 yards for a touchdown. That was bad coaching. That's not necessarily on the quarterback. But towards the end, actually, they had a couple of good drives, and I really kind of enjoyed it. There's hope there yet. There is hope. Anyway, I went on a real tangent about the Jets there. This is about the Orion Bowl. So anyway, one of the good things that happened towards the end was that Garrett Wilson went from having 2 points to having 10.4, which means it wasn't a disaster, because I should have just kept Adam Thielen, and Adam Thielen's probably going to have a career game against the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans are not great against wide receivers this year, but I wanted to have somebody to watch in the game, so sue me. But I was regretting it all game until he went for a touchdown, so it's just about saved me. The original question that I've meandered around, that I've circled all the way over, I landed back on: will Garrett Wilson score, beat Nico Collins? No. Then you've got Reed versus Tank Dell. Reed had a very good game. The second I walked into the pub when I watched him on Thursday night, I literally walked in as a Green Bay player was catching a ball in the end zone. I looked at his jersey. It said Reed. I started dancing. It was fantastic. Really enjoyed the Thanksgiving games this year. Lovely stuff. Does he put up more points than Tank Dell? Probably not. Tank Dell's bad days are a solid 20. So then you've got Laporta versus Ingram. Now Ingram, he's quite a big part of the Jaguars throwing game, but Laporta already put up 12.7. Does Ingram beat that? Not necessarily, but he probably gets close. Rashad White versus Flowers. Now Flowers is questionable. He's such a big part of that aerial offense. But White is going against the Indianapolis Colts run defense, who have not been good this year, and White is the clear running back one there. So that's a tough one. Maybe leaning towards White. Tucker versus Aubrey. Aubrey's already put up 9 points. Going on this season's record, you got to say that Tucker probably doesn't beat 9 points. The Ravens D versus the Chiefs D. The Chiefs D often let up points. The Ravens D are number 2 in the league. I would say the Ravens D take that one. And I haven't even bothered keeping track of who's scoring what in this one, because the fact of the matter is, because of Garrett Wilson's poor play throughout most of yesterday's game, I already conceded defeat several times, and that is that I'm not somebody about to go back on my word. I think the Dallas Stray Gorillas take that one in a heartbeat. And then you've got the Legion of Hot Trash taking on the Coach's Sons, the Legion of Hot Toilet. So you've got Tua taking on Herbert. Now the question here is, because Tua has already played, does Herbert put up more than 7.82? Yes. You've got Mixon versus McCaffrey. McCaffrey has already done 25.9. Does Mixon beat that? No. Montgomery's put up 15.10. And then Gibbs has put up 7.30. So which one of those is higher? It's Montgomery! Woo! There you've got Amon St. Brown, 9.5, taking on Mike Evans. Mike Evans probably gets around about that score. That's probably a toss-up. Downs versus Chase. You've got to lean towards Chase there, although Downs is really becoming quite a problem when he's taking a lot of the ball away from... what's his name? I've forgotten his name. Anyway, the other wide receiver, the good one, on the wide receiver one at the Colts. Why can't I remember his name? He's on my bench. He's sitting there on my bench. I'm going to go back and look. Why is my memory so terrible lately? Pittman! Of course, Pittman! God damn it. Yeah, so, what was the question? Down... Yeah, Chase. You've got to go with Jamar Chase in that one. Schultz versus Kincaid. Got to go for Kincaid. Kincaid. King Booker. He's gonna go for numbers there. You've got Dylan got 8.1 as the running back flex. So you've got to think that Swift is gonna beat that score. Joseph versus Hopkins. Hopkins has been on fire, so you've got to go with Hopkins there. Patriots D against the Giants. That's a good matchup. Against the 49ers D, you already put up 14 points. You're gonna do well to beat 14 points with a defense. I don't think the Patriots necessarily do that. That all points to a coach's son's resurgence, bouncing back from their loss last week to get back to the shores of Fistiana. Victory for the coach's sons. Then you've got the team with no name taking on the Forbesy Niners. So you've got Jackson versus Hurts. You've got to believe that Hurts is probably going to get the better of that one. Jacobs versus Najee Harris. That is Najee Harris all day. Pacheco versus Chardonnay. Pacheco's trash. I don't think he does more than 5 points. AJ Brown versus Moore. AJ Brown, obviously, he's just been so good this season. You've got to go with Brown. CD Lamb has already put up 13 points. Does that beat Deebo Samuel? No, it doesn't, because he's already played as well. He did 15 points. Hawkinson versus King Kmet. You've got to think Hawkinson, because Hawkinson's just been on fire. Olave versus King Henry. Gotta believe that King Henry does more than Chris Olave, even if he isn't on my lineup anymore. That was really... The old Ravens were really shackling Olave down. Anyway, you got then Justin Elliott versus T-Bass. Tyler Bass is just a hell of a kicker, and I respect him a lot, so I'm going T-Bass in that one. Titans versus the Saints. The Titans against Carolina. Saints versus Atlanta. I think... the Saints at a push. So that all points to the Forbes Niners getting the victory over the team with no Namath, the most overrated team in the league. Then you've got the team with no Shamuth, the team with no Namath B team. So you've got Trevor Lawrence taking on Dobbs all day in that one. He's just a fantastic player. I like him a lot. Eckler versus Connor. You've got to think Eckler gets the better of that one. B. Robinson versus Barkley. You've got to think Barkley does more than 6.4. Allen versus Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill's already done 16. I think Allen struggles to get that. Metcalf versus Ayuk. Well, Ayuk's already put up 11 to Metcalf's 3.2. So I think that Ayuk's probably getting the better of that one. Kelsey versus McBride. You've got to think that Kelsey's going to get a higher score in that one. Cook versus Hunt. Cook, more than likely, although he's dealing, it's more of a running back by commission there. But again, like so is Kareem Hunt. Much of a muchness. They're both trash, both terrible. Get them out. Dicker versus Santos. You got to go with Dicker the kicker, haven't you? Dicker the kicker to get the biggest score in that one. The Cowboys D's already put up 16 points. The Colts are going to struggle to match that, which all points to a Harlots win over the team with no Shamuth. Then the Arizona Tits taking on baby dropped Dak. Dak Prescott playing against his former team and namesake team, putting up 32.24, which is absolutely ridiculous. Stroud is going to put up big numbers. I don't know if he does a 32, so I'm going to say Dak Prescott wins that one. Singletary, vision is scary. So I don't know why that always pops into my head. Center of attention, king of the airways. Sorry, I can't stop. Anyway. Does he beat Alvin Kamara? No. Ford versus Robinson. Ford gets that one. Lockett putting up a blistering 3 points against DeAndre Hopkins. I think that Hopkins is probably going to beat that score. Diggs versus Nakua. You've got to think that Diggs can put up a better score there. Hunter Henry versus George Kittle. George Kittle already put up 1.9. So Hunter Henry has a very low bar to beat, and I think he probably does. Mattison versus Edwards. I don't know why you would ever put Mattison in at this stage. Gus the Bus is going to he's going to roll all over you if you're really planning on playing Mattison. And then Butker versus Moody. Moody's only done 7. Butker can hit that. Vikings D versus the Browns D. The Browns D have been absolutely on fire. They are winning that matchup, which all points to, I mean, the Tits really have put up a fairly decent score, but Baby Got Dak are probably going to... No, you know what? I'm going to go with the Arizona Tits just because it's a revenge game for Dak Prescott. He's already put up some good numbers. That is all I've got time for this week. If I've picked you to win, prove me right. If I've picked you to lose, prove me wrong. See you next time.